And we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 71 of Global Citizens. My name is Kelvin. I am the show's host, and I am also its founder. So, my guest for today is Mr. Steven Dossou. Steven is the creator of Ignite the Transformation Summit. He is also the founder of Salesforce Catalyst, co founder of Leadership University. Along with that, he's an author, inspirational speaker, and transformational coach. Steven has impacted thousands of lives on a global scale, and he is nicknamed as the Action Man. He is viewed by his peers as a charismatic visionary who undoubtedly believes in unleashing the human potential by inspiring people to break their boundaries and redefine their limits. As a living testimony, Stephen has followed his dream and recreated a new path by elevating himself from his humble beginnings in his country of origin, Togo is in West Africa, to leadership and impactful roles on a global platform ice. So without further ado, I will pass the platform back to Steven. How are you, my man?
I'm doing awesome, my man. I'm on top of the world.
All right. I love the energy. I love the energy. All right. So we'll just jump into the very first question. Yeah. So this is actually a question that I love to ask all the entrepreneurs that are on the show. Okay.
Okay.
So in this day and age, how would you rank this? And order of importance is first, second, and third. So the first one is money. Second is the charisma. Third is empathy in business or in life. And why, man? Yeah.
Money, charisma, and empathy. All
Yeah.
right, Calvin. First of all, before I say any word, I just want to thank you very much for having this platform and giving people a voice, right, to talk about the things that matter. Personally, I am always very grateful for any platform that is offered to me to make a dent somewhere in the universe, right, and use my words, use my voice, use my gift to unleash somebody potential today and or lighten the path of someone today. And that's what I would love to do by spending time with you today, right? So, talking about money, charisma, and empathy in terms of classification, well, I guess I would say that everybody will, rank those based on their values, right? And the
Yeah.
values are those that we embrace based on our life experiences. Okay, so for me, what will come first will be charisma. Will be charisma, and then will be empathy, and then will come money. Right now,
Yep.
why that's point of order? Because you see, I believe that the many leaders, I mean, if you read the book Good to Great, Great by Choice, Built to Last, written by Jim Collins, which talk about, it studies I mean, over 300 Fortune 500 companies, how they went from good to great, or the point at which to turn, and the leaders that were there at that point. And what Jim Collins did was to actually study what were the common traits to all those leaders. And one of the things that was found was that those leaders have charisma. All right. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not attributing everything to charisma, but what I'm trying to say is that if you want to stand tall in the world of today, if you want to pave a way for yourself, I think charisma is a skill that is necessary. So that when you have that, you are able to pivot and then attract, the resources necessary for you to actually be an impact. Okay. And when you have the charisma and you start making a difference, it is only fair that you have empathy. You are able to pull those people that are down there up. You are able to share with the world your knowledge of the little that you gain. And obviously, Zig Ziglar says that when you give people what they want, you get what you want. So by doing so, by being there for people, guess what? They will be there for you too. And by that, you get to make money, right? If you serve people, you get to make more and more and more money. So that will be my ranking.
Yep. Good answer. Good answer, my man. Okay. So yeah, why I actually love to ask this question for
Yeah.
entrepreneurs, it's because nowadays we are living in an era whereby, especially with the younger generations being much more tech savvy, and yet sad to say they don't seem to have a certain factor to push them, the drive to do that. Not
Indeed.
to insult to everyone, not to insult to everyone, yeah, in case you are watching this, but the thing is that it's in a way you can describe it like how they done it once in Fresh Prince of Bel Air, which at one point actually catapulted Will Smith to superstardom. Is that parents have given everything in their power that they don't have in the past, and yet they forgot to give what they actually have. So this is something that I think is a way to summarize it. And well, I really love it whenever entrepreneurs who are already doing it in life, and then they actually highlight the reality is that your character is actually prioritizes over money.
Oh yeah,
And I really appreciate that line, Steven. All right, man.
totally, totally. Yeah, yeah. Character is everything.
All right. So please share with us, man. How do you start this whole thing as a transformational catalyst? Because I know you have a really difficult childhood growing up in Togo, West Africa. I believe it's in your website, whereby you mentioned you're actually in the middle child, that you grow up in a two-bedroom apartment, and now you are now actually talking to me in Netherlands, even though I actually know you from Singapore. So yeah, do you mind sharing with us how do you start doing this? And also, right, in my show, I don't like to just show the rosy part of something. I want you to tell me the difficult part of it.
Oh
The
yeah,
because well, this is one thing that I want people to actually realize. It's not just, hey, I'm on social media, I'm famous, hooray. It's not such a thing. So
yeah,
yeah, Steven?
yeah, yeah, man. Kelvin, I salute your vulnerability, right? And the filter of seeing through, because I mean that's everything, right? Like just showing it or saying the way it is, because believe it or not, at whatever life that we have, everybody has their own challenges. Look, I mean, how I got to actually, do what I'm doing today. I mean, I grew up. I was born in Togo, West Africa. Togo is a little country in the west of Africa. It's next to Ghana, because many people don't know Togo. When I say Togo, they were like, "What, Tokyo?" So it's not Tokyo, right? Like listen, Togo, right? It's in West Africa. It's a little country, north to the south, 600 kilometers, east to the west is about 200 kilometers. And
The
well, I remember.
spelling is already in the description box. The
Oh, okay.
spelling of logo is there.
All right. Okay. Awesome. Okay. So I grew up there in a two-bedroom house with my father being polygamous, two wives, and my nine siblings. Right. So yeah, it wasn't rosy at all. I mean, to go to school, you walk for 5-10 miles every single day. You go. So that's almost 20. You walk there and then you walk back. Um, and I mean, talking about the education conditions, right? Let me not even get started. It's crazy. You find like 60 to 100 students in one class, okay, and three of them sitting in one tiny bench. So I mean, growing up in that, I had two choices, right? That could forge me, right, in becoming a man that is hungry, driven, or that could just put me down. But deep within somewhere, for whatever reason, I don't know how, I don't know why, but I just had that voice in me that made me believe that I could be something just a little bit more than what my reality imposed on me, right? So I followed that voice, that little tiny voice in my head. I followed it. And that led me to after 18, when I reached 18, and after doing my degree back home, doing some hustles on the side and, trying to make money here and there. I decided to leave my country, Togo, to relocate into another country that could offer me the opportunities that can allow me to actually, how do I say, to materialize that little voice in my head, right? And I looked around, looked to USA, looked to Europe, but, as it is still now, the visa constraints to any African are terrible, right? So I tried to actually get into USA, Europe, but it was a massive failure. So I decided to relocate from Togo to South Africa, which, had better conditions for me to actually thrive. But it's a journey that, I mean, I didn't really have the money for. I remember if I had to save money to actually buy a flight ticket, that would take me, more than 10 years. So, yeah, I spoke to, my brother, my mom, here and there. we put some things together, and I had about less than $150 in my pocket, and I decided to go on that journey, right? So it's a journey that took me a long time, about 1 year, 6 months, and during that 1 year, 6 months, because I was so broke, I couldn't contact anybody, right? And so my mom thought I was dead, you know. Yeah, I
Oh my,
told her. My
oh
mom
my
thought I
God.
was.
Oh my God.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember those days. The phone I was
Oh
using,
my
I
God.
mean, if I think back today, it make me laugh. I don't know if you remember those old Nokia 1710. It had a yellow screen, and the keyboard is in gum. I don't know if you can remember that. So
I think it was the 1710 model. I don't remember. My first cell phone was in the year 2000.
okay, all right, great. So my Nokia even had no keyboard, right? So if it
Yeah.
rang, I had a matches box in my pocket. When it rang, I would take out a piece of matches and press the hello button. you know so so anyway, eventually, I arrived, in South Africa. And let me tell you something, right? Not because you arrived in your destination, and I like that your show is about that. Not because you grew up in a foreign country, that gives you an edge. No, no. What makes the difference when people relocate from their home country to the foreign country is the focus and the ambition, that they learn to unleash, and the discipline that actually give them the edge. Other than that, not much changes, because let me tell you something. During, when I arrived in SA, I slept in a shack of $20, shack with mice and cockroaches, right? And I couldn't even afford that. So it was a Wednesday afternoon when I was still, at the side of the street, selling, because I was a street hawker at some point, selling little things, biscuits, cigarette, this and that. But even that, I was still very enthusiastic, because I still had the conviction that regardless of what happens with me, I am gonna be something, right? So I will go there, wake up like, it's a brand new day, be like, hi, ma'am, come closer, let me sell you this, let me sell you that. And it was a Wednesday afternoon that this gentleman told me that, hey, I like your energy. Tomorrow, come for interview, right? At a certain place. And I had a friend of mine that was a pastor. I went to him and said, hey, listen, I just got, this opportunity. He went into his drawer because I didn't have it, and pulled out a brand new shirt, a brand new trouser, and the following morning, I wore those as if they were mine. And I went to the interview, and my job was to sell vacuum cleaners. But let me tell you, Calvin, that back then, I didn't even know what vacuum cleaners were, because I had never seen one. I didn't even know how to spell it, and I had to sell them. And that's what I did. The following day, I got given a sales script. I studied it, memorized it by heart, added my own. And the following day, I worked for 2 years, 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, nonstop, nonstop, every single day. And what I like about sales is that numbers never lie. And because I was putting numbers on the table, the headmasters of the company saw the difference, and I was given an opportunity from being a salesperson, just a salesperson of vacuum cleaners, to becoming an area manager and leading a bunch of people. And a few months after that, I became a regional manager. A few months after that, the growth came in, and I kept growing. And after that, I went to start my own business, which I ran for a while, and which went down the drain, right? I failed. I failed. I mean, all of it was not my fault, but most of it was my fault. So I failed. At running my first business eventually. And yeah, after that, I lost a lot of money. And that's when I decided to leave South Africa for Asia, right? And that was about 3.5 years ago. But again, that voice never stopped speaking in my head. But I saw that, one thing that made me very successful in sales, Calvin, was my ability to communicate, my ability to motivate people and bring the best out of them. Any sales manager, any leader will tell you that as a leader of people, you not actually, your goal is not to work, but your goal is to make people, right, work to the best of their abilities through the things that you tell them, through the way you make them perceive themselves. And let me tell you, Calvin, it's something I could do with eyes closed. And so, I understood that, that was my gift. That was one of my gifts. And I decided to embrace that. And that was about 3.5 years ago. And that's when I started Sailforce Catalyst, which is a platform designed to use emotional intelligence to actually bring the best out of people, people from all walks of life. But mostly my focus is on the youth. So, yeah, in a nutshell, Calvin, I chose to embrace my gift. I chose to actually dive into something that I could do, with eyes closed. And that's what I invite every single person to do out there, is to find your gift and to actually dive in it. And that's what I am today, a speaker and a transformational coach. And I'm loving it every single day.
Okay, first off, allow me to give you a warm of applause, my friend. Well done. Very well done. And
Thank
I
you.
don't mean to laugh earlier, but when you mentioned your struggle, you were laughing. And I was like, wait a minute, this is not something that is easy. It's definitely hard for him. But how do you keep that positivity, man? I mean, that was definitely a lot of struggle at a young age. And how do you maintain that? And until now, I'm not bluffing you this, but you are actually the most energetic person I have on this show. I'm not bluffing you this.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Calvin. Calvin, I love Dr. Miles Monroe when he says that the day, um, you know, he found himself standing in front of people, speaking to millions, the day that, he chose not to lose, any belief in himself anymore, is the day that he met himself. I mean, growing up, although I grew up in those tough conditions, although I went through whatever I went through, Gavin, let me tell you that there's this conviction, right? There is just this conviction, this unshakable faith that tells me that whatever happens, right? I love to quote the book of life, which says that 1,000 may fall on my left, 10,000 may fall on my right, but nothing shall come near me. And when I choose to embrace that conviction, right? When I choose to truly live by that conviction, that's what gives me the enthusiasm that I have, regardless of whatever happens around me, right? Again, the book of life says that when I walk in the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil. I am not shaken at all. I am not shaken because of the view of myself on the other side. So what gives me this enthusiasm, this consistent energy, not that, I don't experience challenging times. No, not that there are times where I don't go down. No, but going down and being able to pull myself back up just like this, that's what I'm talking about. And where that comes from, it's my ability to accept, my ability to embrace, right? The thinking that whatever is happening to me now is just temporary, that it will not be long before the rain or the sunshine will come again. So, yeah, that's what I'm convinced of. That's what I live by.
I love it. I love it. Okay, do you agree though that your struggles is actually what makes you to who you are today, and embracing them is what actually leads you to where you are now from where you were last time?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's Kevin. I mean, I think it's very very important because I always make this key difference that there's a difference between embracing your struggle and embracing your struggle. What do I mean by that? Let me explain to you, Kevin, what I mean by that. You see, I mean, a person can embrace their struggles and choose to live with their struggles, right? Or you can embrace them, but also use them as a catalyst to your motivation and to your ambition, right? And what I've chosen to do, yes, is to accept my struggles, but not to embrace them and make them a wife to live with. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So yeah,
Yep.
I accept them, and indeed, most of them make of me what I am today. But what I'm trying to say, Calvin, to you is that it does not mean that we have to struggle to be what we are supposed to be. You get what
Yep.
I'm saying? A friend of mine, pastor, he used to tell his congregation that, hey, uh, people, listen, every time something happens to you, you blame the devil. Come on, man. And this is the pastor talking, right? He says that it's not always the devil's fault for all the wrong things that happen in your life. Okay, take some responsibility too. So I guess what I'm trying to say, Calvin, is that yeah, my struggles make me, right, because I chose to take them heads on, right. I chose to fight through them. They say that the African proverb says that what is a piece of coal that became diamond under pressure, right. So I chose to fight through those struggles, and by fighting through them, what I trained my masters of relentlessness. I trained my masters of persistence. I chose to train those muscles that will make me become a hard knock and to never give up. And yes, that's why I am who I am today.
I can relate to it to a certain extent. Global Citizens was actually created when I actually was feeling extremely depressed and down because having lived in Singapore most of my entire life, it's a developed country. You used to live there, so I think you would know how it feels. And then suddenly I need to be back to Indonesia, the country that is still developing, that is supposed to be my hometown, and yet I know nothing about it, and
Mhm.
everybody already make that expectation out of me.
Yeah,
So I don't want to keep wallowing in self pity when actually that particular event happened. So around a year and 2 months ago, I decided, you know what, I wanted to be a speaker. That's also always been my ambition.
okay,
So I don't want to just speak about something regular. I wanted to speak on something that is close to my heart.
okay,
And this issue became the main drive to it. And well, we are now at 71, and there's a lot more events coming up. There's a lot more stuff that I've actually have opened the doors to because of doing this. So yeah, I think I can relate to it to an extent.
totally, totally. Yeah, I mean, a friend of mine who's a fashion designer in Singapore. His name is Q. Actually, he always used to tell me that, hey, whenever you go through a struggle, that is the time actually that you listen to your heart and your intuition the most, because those are the time that you get the greatest ideas, right? So totally, I can relate to what you're saying, Calvin.
Wow. Okay. Look at this, everybody. We are both born in different continents, different part of the world, different backgrounds, and yet we can always find some common ground.
Totally.
And it's also through struggles that we actually do it. So yes, guys, this is the value of well, not running away from your challenge, I guess. So this is something that I think is universally translatable, and I really hope you guys who is watching this today got some golden nuggets out of it. So yeah, for those who is watching this for the very first time, yeah, Global Citizens is an online website whereby I invite individuals who has spent considerable amount of their life outside of their passport country, or well, they have experienced life outside of the passport country. So like Third Culture Kids, a group that I always advocate because I am one, and of course, any form of other multicultural lifestyle, such as expatriate, and like how Steven has already lived his life. So, yeah, Steven, I actually want to ask you this earlier. You already mentioned on you trying out your business in the US, Europe, and of course, finally, South Africa, and then in Asia, right? So, have you ever experienced any kind of difficulties and failure because of cultural differences, man?
I guess so. Definitely. I think, yeah. I mean, um, I don't know if I will say for me. I don't know if I will say it was culture. Uh, I don't know if race falls part of culture, right? I guess it does, right? Because I mean, a certain kind of people do things a certain way, right?
Correct.
So definitely, yeah. For me, it has to do with race. Okay, being black and not being accepted by a certain group of people, and so they kind of push away, right, everything that you're trying to do, everything that you're trying to get into. They don't really accept it, and they try everything from left to right to actually, get you not to succeed. And yeah, I've experienced that, in Asia. I've experienced that even in South Africa, right, where where I had a business, or where I was trying to actually just reach out to people and sell them stuff, but they wouldn't buy because I am black, right? and they will make comments like, hey, we don't buy stuff from black people, or black people should be, monkeys in the bush. Yeah, so definitely, Calvin, I have experienced that. And let me tell you something, it is not fun, right? It is not a fun experience to not be accepted because of how you look or because of whatever culture you come from. It's not fun at all.
Yeah, I heard that. I heard that. Then when George Floyd actually passed away early this year, yeah, with regards to Black Lives Matter, I actually invited one of my guests who's an African American, and
Okay.
I created an article which is supposed to be anti-racism. There was actually, surprisingly, there was a lot of mixed reaction to it. It's like there are those who condemn my article, and I was wondering, it's like, guys, this has nothing to do with money. I'm not trying to get this as a publicity. This is
Totally.
somebody's life, and I already created it beforehand because that time there was a lot of xenophobia on the Asian community because of the release of the pandemic. And well, at that time when I created the article, I already included issues like systemic racism or even the portrayal of a certain race in the media. It's already done that way. So when George Floyd passed and the article coincided with it, I actually just did a quick edit. Is to pay tribute to a deceased individual may who might not be a perfect human, but the way his life was taken, it was just unfair.
Indeed.
Yeah. What do you think about this moving forward, my man? Because the thing is that a lot of, well, as much as 2020 has been an incredible disappointment. Yeah, I'm sorry. There's no nicer way to put it. 2020 is a disappointment. But the thing is that there's actually a lot of time for us as human beings to start reflecting. Is because systems and structures that was done in the past in order to support maybe a certain color or maybe a certain rule to benefit certain group of people. In fact, as we see in the US presidential election, I'm not going to say any further on that. But the thing is that, yeah, how do you think we can deal with this moving forward? It's because we are not gonna keep on living, trying to move on while the upcoming generation is being told that a system that is outright outdated, that is outright prejudice, is the right thing to do. So yeah, Stephen, I pass this
Yeah.
back to you.
Yeah, Calvin, I'm a very optimistic person, and I believe in the future, right? And I believe in the youth. So, I mean, and I always love taking study cases. So, if I take a country like South Africa, for instance, which historically, was oppressed, by a very cruel system, apartheid, right? Which, as a matter of fact, when you go in the country today, you still see the trade, right? The scars of apartheid, in the mindset and the life of people, right? And I mean, when you talk about apartheid, we might as well talk about colonialism, right? In the French African countries, in the English African countries too. As a matter of fact, almost in the whole continent of Africa, right? So, but here's the thing, okay? I believe there is hope, Calvin. I believe there is hope, okay? Because talking back, to South Africa, nowadays you can see now that there's little black children and little white kids going to the same school, right? Talking to each other, not looking at the color of their skin. Okay, and so if we project 50 years, 40 years from now, I'm very optimistic that, like Martin Luther King says, right, it's already happening, but it's even gonna happen even better. Okay, we're gonna be having a lot of mixed race kids running around, a lot of mixed race on the face of the earth, and hopefully, we'll all be treated equally. We'll all have the equal opportunities, right? So Africans will not have to apply for visas anymore. Will not hassle for visas anymore to go to the western to go to the western sides, which the opposite is not always true, right? And I believe that through that, the economic freedom as well will come to every single person, and we'll have less of inequal redistribution of wealth. on the face of the earth and in many other countries, right? And I believe that that's all we can be. We can only be optimistic, right? There's no room for pessimism, and not only being optimistic but also living what we preach, okay? And quickly neutralizing those that want to sow seed of division, those that want to sow seeds of racism, right? Like white supremacists. I believe every single of those have to be locked down, or put in a concentration camp somewhere. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, just that's my view for the future. I believe that all will be well, and we all just have to be very conscious, about the neighbor that perhaps is making racism comment, but does not know it. And we must be willing to educate, empower, and help those less privileged people out there to actually rediscover themselves and stand tall so that we can all live together in peace and harmony.
Yep. I love it.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a beautiful line, man. And I was
yeah,
about to mention on the late Dr. Martin Luther King, who is actually one of my own personal heroes. So thank you so much for saying that.
yeah.
And the fact that you described the situation based on his vision. Thank you.
Totally, man. Totally. Thank you.
Okay, I actually wanna. This is actually asked by one of my viewers.
Okay.
As the thing is because when they see your title is that you're a transformational catalyst. Yeah, that's actually part of one of your companies, Salesforce Catalyst. The thing when as an adult, we actually are incredibly okay. This is actually described by Albert Einstein, I believe. Logic is the combination of every negative experience you gathered until the age of 18. So the thing is that a lot of times
Okay.
people are incredibly resistant to change is because they are prideful. They want to keep reverting back to what is familiar with them.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you this is that do you feel though at the age affects how people can change their mindset or how they are supposed to progress? And also how can one let go of their own pride in order for them to actually become a better person?
Okay. All right. Kevin, look, I love the book of life, which says that, I mean, sorry to say this, but it is true, right? Which says that age is not synonym of wisdom.
Yeah.
Okay. You can be old and be foolish.
Yep.
You get what I'm saying? So,
Yep.
yeah. And most of the time, what stops us from changing, what stops us from taking a step into the new, right, is at what we call experiences, right? No, I know this. I've tried it before. It doesn't work. Can we try something different? No, 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 no. I know it doesn't work. Okay. So yeah, totally. Kevin, this age can be a massive blockage, right? For us to actually take a step towards change, take a step towards transformation. Okay. But when we are conscious of that, when we know that, actually, it does not mean that I've tried it 55 times throughout my lifetime and it hasn't worked. Doesn't mean that if the sixth time wouldn't work. We have to know that and we have to accept it that that's just how life is. That, everything literally is possible. And the fact of it being possible is possible. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, age can be a massive blockage, right? To us taking, a free dive towards change. And it's only when we know that, it's only when we understand that age is not synonym of wisdom. We can be very old, white, gray hair, and be still foolish and not know it all. When we know that, we are able to look at things right with a humble view, with a critical mindset, and still have room to learn and grow.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I love it, man. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, okay, this is something that I've actually advised somebody is that if your mindset is like what you said, you are old and you're still foolish. Surround yourself with good people and take good care of them so that they are the one who can advise you when you don't know how to proceed forward. So with regards to this, my man, what do you think is the right way for you, if you are still old and foolish, to actually be able to contribute properly to the people who are good for you? Because the thing is that you always want to keep this good company in your life, right?
Yeah, yeah, Kevin. I mean, just to add on what you said,
Yep.
it's not only people that are old and foolish that have to surround themselves with the right people. Okay, so in my book Be Transform, which you can actually find, on www.transform.site, sorry, transformnow.site/ Be Transformed, is also on Amazon. It's a 10-week program that I put out there. One part is my life journey, how you can transform, the process of transformation, and then I have a practical 10-week steps that people can use to actually create everlasting change in their lives. And in week 7, I talk about the power of relationships. So actually, I believe every single body, and that's something that we actually not taught from a very young age. Okay, we are actually taught to be, very individual, just focus on our plate. But that is not the case. I believe that every single person needs to cultivate the art of having the right people in their lives. I love what Les Brown says, that what QPO, quality people only. Have your bread and butter friends, right? The person that when you call in the middle of the night, that my car is broken down, I am stuck, he will not ask you what time it is. He will say, where are you? Okay. The people that will see the best in you, the people that when they see the right opportunity that fits you, they will not say, hey, you know what? I don't think that you are less skilled for that. They will say that, hey, I think you are actually overqualified for that. So go for it, right, with all your might. We all need the right people in our lives, and when we have those right people in our lives, Kelvin, how to take care of them is not a rocket science. Okay, we can thank them with a Gina certificate. We can thank them with roses and flowers. We can thank them by a simply night out movie, right? And now you can't go out anymore, right? But it,
Yeah.
yeah, it's as simple as giving them, a $10 voucher that, hey, listen, man, go onto this website and just get something for yourself, or even better, a Netflix subscription, right, for at least the first 2 months, right? Do a lifetime Netflix subscription for someone now. But anyway,
Well, I have to thank my sister.
yeah. But my point, Calvin, is that to show appreciation, but guess what? Like I said in the beginning of this, is that when you give people what they want, they give you what you want. When you show appreciation for the people in your life, what they send that back to you as well. And especially if they're the right people, you've got to show even just a thank you note. It's gonna cost you less than $1. Say, hey, friend, I thank you for being in my life. I appreciate every single thing that you do in my life. Every word of encouragement that you give me, it means a lot to me. That means, it goes a long way, Calvin. So the point that I'm trying to make is that whether it's through $1 million gift, or whether it's through 99-cent gift, or whether it's just through words, we've got to make it a point that we let those people know that they matter to us. They are, a measure impact in our lives.
I love it, man. Yeah. That is true. That is true. This is actually a beautiful nugget for people, because the thing is that you thought that you could show appreciation, but the thing is, it could be something that people see. Oh, this is not sincere. You're just doing it as though it is like a sense of, oh, because there's a necessity to do it. But when
Yeah,
you make it more personalized, like what you have advised, this is something that actually shows people how you actually appreciate them. So yeah, thank you so much for this, Steven.
it's
Yeah,
always a pleasure. Yeah.
I actually have two final questions for you. This is actually quite a fun one. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm giving you a full autonomy. Means you have the full right to do whatever you want to create your own civilization based on your experiences, or based on your experiences growing up in Togo, West Africa, or even your experiences outside of your passport country, or even when you're in Asia. What systems will you put in place to actually create the civilization?
Thank you for this question. Actually, Calvin, I mean, to those that are listening out there, please support my dream. In 21 years from now, I want to become the president of Togo, right?
Wow.
Yeah, totally. And next year this time, I would love to be launching what I call Afri Money University. Afri Money University is gonna be a virtual education platform which is gonna teach young Africans about mindset, money management, marketing, business leadership, right, and how to start a business, everything online. And the reason why I want to start that university is to be able to help young Africans to have a different view of themselves, to forget the thinking that they have to go overseas to actually be somebody, right? And if they have that point of realization, they can actually implement it and create something that can actually give them a fulfilled life. And by that, Kevin, what I'm trying to say is that if I have to create a civilization of my own, the first thing I will ensure is that every single citizen view themselves as an image of God, right? Totally embrace that fact and accept it that we have been created to create, that we have the power to create our lives, we have the power to create everything around us. But it is a power that does not come true if you do not accept it, if you do not tap into it. Okay. So the first thing that I will do in that civilization of mine is to ensure that people have the right thinking, not to let their perception blur their, I mean, the true identity that they carry about themselves. Because guess what, Calvin? One thing that stops our with, I mean, earlier on we spoke about the aged person who is foolish. What stops that person to actually, accessing that wisdom of his? It's not necessarily the fact that he cannot, no, but it's because of the perceptions that he lacks blur the vision that he's supposed to have, right? So being able to fix the right perception of people, how you perceive yourself is everything, right? If I perceive myself as, a less of achiever. If I perceive myself as a foolish person, then I will be. But if I perceive myself as somebody that can actually indeed create my reality, if I perceive myself as somebody that can indeed change my world, then I can be. They say what? That the people that are crazy enough, right, to believe they can change the world are the ones who do. The people that are crazy enough to perceive themselves as being able to change the world are the ones who do. So yeah, the first point of order, the first point in the constitution of my civilization, of my country, Calvin, will be to put in place, right, words, books, things, everything that can what elevates the consciousness of these people, right? The perception of themselves. And when that is done, oh yeah, we're gonna be rolling. We're gonna be rolling, right? We're gonna be rolling. We're gonna create, a civilization that has never ever been seen before. That will even be much greater than the ancient Egyptian civilization.
Uh, Let me just. Yeah, sorry. Give me a second. Wow. Okay. Wow. That is wow. Okay. I could be talking to the next president of Togo in 21 years' time, who
Exactly.
has created, who already had such a big idea in place that is wow. That's all. That's the only thing I can say. I nope, no other further explanation. That is wow. I can end this right now, and I think I'll have a perfect ending. Okay. Wow. That wow. Give me a second. Yeah, that's amazing, my man. That's amazing. Yeah. Okay. The last question, I think you have indirectly answered it actually, but I will still say it for you because the previous question is more towards what the idea you have. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what are your visions though for the upcoming decade? And yeah, what do you hope to see in the difference between the younger generations of children in regardless if it's in West Africa or even Okay, this is something that TCKs tend to experience is that whenever we go to a different part of a country, a piece of our heart, a piece of ourselves is put in that country. I mean, every single National Day in Singapore, I sing the song Home because that is, even though it's a second home to me, that is always going to be a part of me. It's part of my heart. And yeah, for yourself, you spend time in the different continents outside of West Africa. And well, I even though you spend it as an adult, I think you would have experienced the exact same thing because you interacted with the locals. You tend to see how they are, what they are doing, why they are different.
Yeah.
And well, whether it's good or bad, it's a part of you. So, what from everything that you're doing now, my man, what do you hope to see with the legacy of the next generation?
Oh, what I hope to see. Uh, Calvin, I mean, anybody that knows me back then and back now will tell you that I believe in people, right? I believe that people are awesome. Human beings are fantastic. They are just amazing beings, right? And if anybody that I want to see, I mean, if anything that I want to see in people is the ability to break their chains, right? To break the invisible mental change, mental chains, sorry. And you know what? Setting, unbreakable, like, let me not even say unbreakable, but setting, unimaginable boundaries, for us to continuously go for, right? And if anything, I believe for the youth anywhere in the face of this earth, it's very simple. It's very simple, Kelvin. Young man or young woman, if you're out there listening to me, what I want you to know and understand today is that you can be literally anything that you want to be. Okay. What I want you to know today, young men and young women, is not to ever, ever let anyone talk you down, not to ever, ever let anyone sow in your mind seeds of doubt, seeds of fear, seeds of low self esteem. Because once you take those seeds and plant it in yourself and you water them with your own experiences, guess what's going to happen? You'll forever be at the bottom of the ladder, right? I mean, when I said, people ask me, but hey, we all cannot be at the top. Yeah, I know we all cannot be at the top. I get that. But when I say that, what I'm trying to tell people, this is not about ranks or no, no, no. Dr. Miles Monroe says that what we are all born to be leaders, but not leaders of people necessarily, but leaders of our own area of gifting, right? So when you discover what your gift is, when you discover what cloth you are truly cut off, you are what? Tapping into your own sense of leadership. And that's what I'm talking about. That every young man and woman need to be able, right, to discover their own area of gifting. And that is what this time is for, right? Although we are going through this crazy, crazy, crazy with a capital K, these crazy times, what we need to do right now is to discover our own area of gifting and go for it with full power. You understand? So that's what I want to tell young people out there. Find what your gift is. And it is time now to let it out. I don't care whatever age you are, the earlier you start, the better it is, right? Go out there and be what you are truly made to be, right? Create what you are truly made for to be created. All right. So, Kevin, what I'm saying is this: free yourself of fear, self-doubt, and low self-esteem. And that's what I do. And that's what I help young people do, right? To actually step up and stand in front of people as tall as possible to be free of fear, self-doubt, and low self-esteem, which are the three toughest demons of mankind. And once that is done, oh man, let me see you fly. Let me see you rocket. So if anything, I believe in the youth. I believe that what the sky is the limit. We are our own limit, and right. Oh, there is much more greater things to come.
All right. Okay, that's actually all the questions I've got.
Okay.
There's so many part of this interview that I can use as a caption for the Instagram if you guys have seen my posts, because I always make sure there's a quote from the guest itself, or at least I will explain the wonderful experience I've gotten from today. So yeah, before I end this, I need to give some shout out to some of these individuals. Yeah, so it's first off is Miss Jen Mohindra. Jen is actually a TCK coach. She is also the host of People Like Us, which is a podcast that I've actually been a part of. I believe my episode should be released soon. I can't remember when. And along with that is actually Mr. Rayson Chu. Rayson is the host of Legacy. He is actually in my milestone 50th episode. The reason being why he's that is because he's actually one of the person who inspired the creation of this show.
Oh,
So
awesome.
along with that, I also need to give a shout out to oh sorry, uh, sorry about that. What is the sorry? Yeah, sorry about that. Sorry about that, guys. A little technical issue with my phone. Uh, apologies about that. Humans issue, right? Okay, so yeah, lastly, I need to give a shout out to Mr. Jamie Goodman. Jamie is actually the host of Red Ramblings podcast on YouTube, whereby he actually interviewed people who is living in the different parts of the world to talk about their difference between his life in the US and also the life outside of the US. So other than that, everyone, do check out. We actually are giving some freebies courtesy of Steven. So it's the 7 steps to bring your ideas to life 2.0. You can get it at Steven's website www.transformnow.site.slash be transformed. So yeah, the announcement is here and it's already in the description box. So guys, do check it out. Do reach out to Steven if you need be, but if you do reach him out, please let him know that you got your contact from me. If you do, it is his own personal privacy. Yeah. So other than that, of course, the last person and definitely not the least I want to thank is Steven. Thank you so much for making your time today. I really appreciate everything you said. And it is so much to the point now I'm thinking, okay, how am I going to caption this? There's so many good parts to put.
Thank you, man. Thank you, Calvin. Thank Calvin. Listen, I mean, beside you thanking me, which I, ideally accept your thanks. However, it's thanks that I take with both my hands and return back to you. All right, and tell you that I believe in what you are doing, right? And it's not everybody that is doing what you're doing. As a matter of fact, there are some people wherever they are right now in their worlds, that woke up this morning and thought of, doing what you're doing now. But then their fears and that doubt, put them back to bed and say, no, 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 not now, and they've been saying not now for the past 15 years. Okay. So doing what you're doing with the 71st time, my brother, I want to tell you that, well done, keep the fire burning. There's gonna be times where you're gonna feel the doubt of giving up. There's gonna be times where, people will make you question, what you're actually in for. But what I believe, Calvin, is that even if it's the life of one person that you impact, that one person will impact other millions of people. All right. So you just never know. So just keep doing what you're doing, right? And always remember that when you are trying to light a fire, it's not a fire for yourself. When trying to light up a light somewhere, it's never ever for yourself alone. Somebody also will benefit from it. And that's what you're doing right now. So thanks to you, right? I believe that you are great, you are awesome. And you know what? You're gonna go from light to another light to another greatness.
Thank you. Thank you so much, my friend. All right, guys. Yeah. Thank you so much for tuning the rest of you who have tuned into this show. And yeah, let me just take a bit of time to process what Steven said. Thank you so much. Yeah, when I created this, I've never thinking about money. I wasn't thinking about fame. All I want is a voice for people to actually hear about the reality of life when you live it outside of another country. I want some people to actually see what is the reality of us, and hearing that is something that is quite deep. And thank you so much, Stephen. I truly appreciate it, and I really hope that anyone here, even if it's like what Stephen said, just one person, it's something that has given you an impact for the day. And with that, that's the end of episode 71 of Global Citizens. conversation with a transformational catalyst coach. Everyone, do stay safe, take care of yourself. And even though the situation has shown some improvement nowadays, we don't know how it is. Even then, health and safety is still a priority. And with that, take care, everybody, and have a good day. Bye.
Remember, you too can be great. See you on top. Bye bye.
Bye bye.